Yeah, as Geshan mentioned, so we can start the session. So as you all know, we are continuing with the question and answer session, and there is no Dhamma sermon being discussed. So anyway, after the session, Geshan may probably play a recording to continue in sitting. Now, I think you can start the recording button as well. I think it's not being recorded.
Yes, just start doing that, and
Okay, fine.
yes, I will play 20 minutes sitting at the end of your program.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right. Okay, I think Andrad has raised his hand. May you go ahead with your question.
Thero, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
So today in the morning when I was doing my sitting meditation and my standing, I just realized I just went to this status where it was two statuses. Just one was the thoughts were coming, but it was very soft. It was not so bothering. But then I just see it coming and going, disappearing. And there was this another state where it's just I'm completely the thoughts have disappeared. It's just the mind and the body is sort of separated sort of state. So I just want to know what's that state, what's going on there. It's just I'm sort of freed, it's just there's total I just feel very free, sort of freedom.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that I don't have a mind anymore. But when the thoughts come in, I also see that coming in. Then I see the connection that happens.
Right.
So I'm just curious to find out what that status is, because that's very serene, and I just feel it's total freedom. I feel total freedom.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, can you explain a little bit about the history? What is the kind of meditation that you were doing just before that experience?
Yes, so I told you that I've been doing that Mama Banahanana first initially, and then after that was the initial Kamatana I used, and then I switched to the feelings meditation, where I have been doing concentrating on the feelings.
Mm-hmm. So what did you experience?
So, the dhatu. So I just feel I go to this samadhi during that time.
By the way,
my both, and you have been sorry.
By the way, what is your experience with the feelings, and what did you experience?
I just see because you advised me to do the walking, straight walking, because I was doing around the house, that one.
Right.
And then I just see the feelings appearing and disappearing, and then I switch to the pains, the Vedana. And then last Sunday when I spoke to you, I just told you that I just see the thoughts as well.
Mm-hmm.
Coming and disappearing.
Right. Okay.
And just now I have come to that situation where I'm just seeing that that mind is separating sort of from the body, sort of thing. I don't know if that's how you explain.
So so you mentioned that you felt kind of a release, right? Can you explain a little bit?
Yes. It's just I'm released from the thoughts.
Okay.
I don't when I see the thoughts, I just see a story going on.
Right.
Even though the story is very calm,
mm-hmm.
but I just feel the story. It's sort of manufactured as production, manufacturing the thoughts.
Correct. Understood.
But in this case, there are no thoughts. I can't see anything. I'm totally free. I was freed from the
thinking.
I can say the mind, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, thinking. Yes.
Okay, got it. That's good. Yeah. I mean, just keep happening, because it's a good sign. Basically, the method is working well. So you can simply continue as the way you have practiced, and basically, I mean, abandoning of kind of thinking, in a way, compulsive thinking or any kind of rumination. All that is one essential part of Vipassana practice. So if you are able to do that, that's a good sign. So once you reach there, just be. Don't do anything, just be.
Okay. But the thing is, it's just like I don't feel like it's me who's doing it. It's just a process. It's just like a process that happens not
Correct.
randomly, but
Yeah.
it's a cause and effect. But it just happens. Like I have no control of like that status. So that's why
Right,
so I just have to keep on practicing.
Yeah, that's
like
it.
you
And
maintain it.
you don't actually, the result is not something you can create in a way. We are in a way facilitating that result. So as you are continuing the practice, so once a while, so everything become well balanced and aligned, and then the mind get released. So that is how it happens. And so it's, as you said, it is not that you doing it. I mean, unless till you are there, kind of egocentric thinking is there, it won't happen. But the ego has to be fairly depleted, and it has to almost like disappeared, and then the process take over, and then the release may happen.
Okay, all right. Okay. So what's that like status? Is there a way we can explain what that status is, or it's
So
not
this is
necessarily?
what actually Buddha re-emphasize again and again in the Satipatthana Sutta, that as you practice any kind of proper Satipatthana, then the mind get released without holding on to anything, without grasping anything in the world. Mind become sort of independent. And when mind is going through any kind of thinking, so that means certain amount of grasping is there, certain amount of attachments are there. But when mind is basically given up thinking, so that means there is no such attachment, rather mind has become fairly still, calm, relaxed, no grasping. So that is, I mean, we can't say immediately there is no grasping when say mind become quiet, because mind can become quiet even when you are absorbed to something. Now say for example you are practicing breathing meditation, you are just a beginner, and when mind may be scattered and distracting, but once you establish properly mindfulness on the breathing, then that scatteredness reduce and your mind become more focused, and thinking become less and less, and ultimately you are completely with breathing and there is no thinking. So this is also the kind of a release, but not what we are talking right now. No, this is the kind of a release that you are experiencing by latching with a kind of a very, very refined process like breathing. By holding on to or paying close attention to a kind of a refined process, you still feel certain kind of a release. But here what you experience seems to be more into vipassana, because you are going through observation of various feelings, and then you are able to look at your own mind, and thoughts are coming and going, you are not grasping them. So very much a certain amount of wisdom aspect is involved. So then the mind get released. Now here it is not that you are holding on to something, but you are not holding anything at all.
Yeah, it's like I can't hold because there's no thoughts to do the connection. That's
Correct.
what I see. It's
Yeah,
like,
just, I mean, this is a good result, by the way. So again and again reach this status, and then it's a matter of just maintaining it. So try to be there for as long as possible for the moment. How long you were there experiencing that?
Actually, it wasn't that long because I just experienced it. As soon as I got to know, then I again came back to my thoughts, and I saw the thoughts were flowing in again.
Right.
It's like a tunnel. It just comes.
I see.
I'm just trying to explain. It just comes through the tunnel sort of, and there's a connection.
Right.
But so it was not for that long, Bhante. So I just have but this is the first time I've been seeing it, experiencing it, but this is like the first time I actually properly observed,
right.
I just felt it.
So anyway,
I just wanted to
anyway, repeat the same process and arrive this thoughtless, grasping free, very relaxed, very quiet stillness of the mind, and just try to be there again and again. Yeah.
Okay,
and try to expand that also. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Right. Yeah. Thero Sanai.
Very Very good. Thank you for that question. And I hope there are many other questions coming along. Until such time, I wanted to ask a question from Bhante as well.
Yeah.
So, Bhante, I think I asked this question last time, but trying to sort of find even more clarity.
About the recognition of the Kalyana Mitra, right?
Yes.
Oh my God.
That is. That is.
Now only I remembered the question.
Yes. So
I see. Actually, there is separate suttas, like last time I think Vimal Disanayaka pointed it out, something called Kalyana Mitra Sutta. It actually talks about how Buddha being the Kalyana Mitra, the foremost Kalyana Mitra, and on the other hand, how one can become an Asappurisa is explained in the Sappurisa Sutta. Sappurisa Sutta is available in, I think in Majjhima Nikaya. Majjhima Nikaya Uparipannasaka. So there are many different events that Buddha elaborate how one can be a Asappurisa in a way. So basically, he's talking about now, say for example, if someone is a monk but he has come from a high caste, before he ordained he was in a higher caste. Now you know that during the Buddha's time the caste system was fairly established in the Indian society. So if someone is coming from higher caste like Sakyan clan or Brahman clan, so after being a monk, so probably he may become conceited, thinking that the other monks are not like him, others are maybe coming from a low caste. So here Buddha say even though he is now a monk, he is an Asappurisa, because you know he is unable to abandon this conceit coming from the caste system, rather he is identifying with it. So likewise, any kind of looking down of another person, either it may be based on the caste, it may be one's wealth or one's skills, one's sila, even the moral conduct, even the dhutanga, the austere practices, or even thinking that I have jhana but others don't have jhana, like that. So many certain such situations are explained in this Sappurisa Sutta. And again Buddha emphasized, if someone is using one's skills or any of these capacities to look down another person, then he becomes an Asappurisa. So likewise, many areas are there, here and there actually Buddha is talking Sappurisa and Asappurisa. I don't know whether this answers your question.
I think sometimes there are some questions arise within that as well, maybe because I don't have the real. So I do understand what you just stated. There is no question about it, and I think the question sometimes what comes, like if we try to do the right thing and to an individual thinking that they are in the, so it's all relative in this kind of environment that we are living right now, and then try to advise and you get flashback, and you're trying your genuine goodness to show, but you get a flashback, and then what we do is basically what I do, not we. What I do, I just withdraw and don't make any type of comments and in that kind of context. Now, am I trying to be a Sappurusha and trying to advise, and that advice is not well received, and so you get a sort of a complaint or chodana, and so that's that type of a complaint sort of arises with the. I listened to Dhammajiva Swaminathan's Chodana Sutra, and that says basically best not to utter any words. And so I was kind of thinking where to draw that line.
Yeah, that's the thing. So it depends on our intuition while we are going through that particular occasion, that particular situation. Now we can't say, so this is the line, this is the formula you need to fill or kind of follow at every time. Rather, we are maintaining certain amount of mindfulness, we have certain amount of wisdom, and now we face a particular situation. At that time, depending on our available mindfulness and wisdom, we have to come to a conclusion, come to a decision, take a decision. So that is the best decision that we can make at that time. We can't ask from someone, we can't look at a book, but we have to take a decision at that moment. What is the capacity, or what is the amount of spiritual capacity we have to take the right decision? So if the mind is not biased, now say for example, our mind can become biased by 4 reasons. You know that sometimes it may be because of the greediness, that we may be taking a side of one person. We like someone, and so we take a side of that person. And we may be angry with another person, and we therefore hate that person, and we take a decision which is not favorable to him because we are angry with that person. Chanda, dosa, bhaya. Bhaya is that here we are afraid of someone, so we take a decision based on the fear. And the other thing is we may be deluded, so we can't take the proper decision because we are deluded, we are ignorant. So these are the kind of discrepancies that can happen when we are taking a decision. But if we are not being trapped in those 4, instead we have a certain amount of mindfulness, wisdom, and then we may be in a better position to take a right decision.
Very good. Thank you very much, Bhante. I will next give Ranga the opportunity to ask the question.
Hi, Bhante.
Yeah.
I have 2 questions. One about the sutta you mentioned, one that's more practice-oriented. So that sutta, the Sappurisa Sutta, is one I've been thinking about a lot lately, and the ending in particular I find very beautiful, but the English translations, like, I'm not sure if what I'm reading is accurate. So in particular in the verses where the Buddha talks about for jhana practitioners, right? The translation I have is that he says, even in relation to such attainments, the Blessed One has spoken of atamyata as in whatever way one may conceive it, it turns out to be otherwise. So the way I interpreted that is basically the Buddha saying, even if you're practicing one of the 8 jhanas, there's this other thing, atamyata, like non-fashioning, non-concocting, non-identification, and that is so deep that no matter how you may conceive of it, it turns out to be otherwise. So giving priority to that, the jhana practitioner sheds their conceit and realizes that they have more to
do,
miles to travel on the path.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yeah, fairly you are correct. So atamyata is one of the very interesting teaching of the Buddha, because as you see, any kind of coloring of the mind or conditioning of the mind takes us away from atamyata. Now, just to give a simile, that then it's easy for us to understand. Now, say for example, when we have a certain amount of water and it is mixed with certain color. So this is one scenario. So the water is there, but it is mixed with color. Assume it's a little, say, blue color water. So then we can't say it is the pure water. On the other hand, water may be there, but it's being boiled. It's bubbling and it's boiled. Now it is also, we can't say it's the real nature or the natural state of the water, but it's being boiled. It is also not atamyata. Now there may be water which is turbulent. That is also not the atammeta, which is again a kind of an artificial state of the water. On the other hand, there may be water which is fairly, kind of become kind of muddy and not clear, not clean. Again, it is not the pure water. Again, it is not atammeta. And there may be another situation where water is there, but it was there for a long time, and as a result of that, some algae and all that has polluted the water. It has become more rotten like, and so that's also not the atammeta. It is also not the pure state of water. So when you consider all those states, you can see it's a kind of a deviation from the original state of the mind, original state of water in a way. So the original state of water doesn't have any color, doesn't have any kind of heating, rather it just maintains the room temperature, and it doesn't have any taste, it doesn't have any color, it doesn't have any mud or any kind of impurity, and it's basically stays still. There is no flowing, just staying still. So then we can say, okay, it is the purest form of original state of water. So the mind is also like that. So whenever mind becomes conditioned, colored, then we can't say it's the original type of mind. So the Buddha, through atammeta, he is talking about this kind of a property where mind has its completely unconditioned state. So in a way we can simply say it's the nibbanic state that Buddha is talking. So assume now one is in first jhana. So in the first jhana, so the certain conditions are there where the mind is adapted to. So as a result of that, now if you say, okay, I am a owner of first jhana, I am now can be called as a first jhana owner, then you are sort of trying to identify with the conditioned state. It depends on so many other variables. So you can't say this is the last stage or this is the unconditioned state. So the moment that the causing factors, the reasoning factors, or whatever the conditioning factor become vulnerable, become changed, become impermanent, unsteady, then this state again collapse. So therefore any of the conditioned state, if one is using to identify as oneself, as it is me, myself, then it's not a really wise thing. So atammeta is what Buddha is again and again recommending here, encouraging here. So all other states are sort of conditioned states, impermanent states, temporary states, so no point of identifying with them.
Thank you, Bhante. Can you explain specifically, I understand that the Pali here is yana yana hi
Manyanti. Yeah, yana yana hi manyanti tatotang hoti anyatha. So manyanti means manyati. Manyati means that you conceive yourself with respect to something. As I mentioned, say you have jhana, and so based on jhana, either you claim yourself as a jhana possessor, jhana owner. I am having first jhana. So here kind of an identification is there. In a way, sakkaya ditthi is there, where you identify thinking that I have this particular skill. I have. So I am an individual, I am a person. So this so-called person has first jhana. So this is a subject-object relationship now we are building. But the moment we do that, so it's a very difficult to maintain, because this is an I made I is there, a created I is there. On the other hand, on the other side, you created a static state, but actually it is not a static state. it's a very vulnerable state, it's a very impermanent state, but we take it for granted, thinking it's a static state, it's a permanent state. Each moment, by the way, it's subject to change, which we didn't understand because of our ignorance, because of our conceit. So whenever we identify with something, from that moment onwards, it's subject to change, and so we'll suffer ultimately, because whatever we identified become otherwise, and we think, okay, I am a first jhana owner, I possess first jhana, but due to some reason that the strength of the jhana can be reduced, the depth of the jhana can be changed, and due to some reason you might completely lose the jhana. All these things are possible.
I see. Thank you about that. I was misinterpreting that point, so I appreciate you writing that for me. Is it possible to ask one more question?
Practical? Yeah.
So, as you know, Bhante, I'm sort of a newcomer to this this freedom sort of experience, right? Mm-hmm. And I've noticed lately, I seem to do well when I have my eyes open. Mm-hmm. And, for example, recently I was traveling in Amsterdam, and one night I just sat on a bench and just kind of relaxed my visual field. Mm-hmm. And as people walked by me, I was just kind of just sort of telling myself, whoever's walking by is not important, it's impermanent and such. And here and there I would sort of notice, I don't know how to explain it, this kind of relaxing, like a door opening. Mm-hmm. But it was an experience that was really intertwined with the visual field. Mm-hmm. Sort of like a loss of identification with the eyes open. So does that make sense? Does it sound like I'm on the right track there?
You said lot of identification or not lot of identification?
So there would be these kind of moments where I could feel a loss of identification.
Okay, loss of identification.
But it's sort of like I'm very well aware of what I'm seeing.
Yeah, definitely. That's where now Buddha explained that ditte dittamattam bhavissati. So basically, it assures that you are seeing. Seeing is happening. Seeing is not disturbed, but it is mere seeing. You are not introducing any kind of a structure into seeing, any kind of a personality into seeing. You are merely experiencing. You are simply going through an experience, but you don't say that I am experiencing, and again you don't say I saw him, or I am seeing him, or I am seeing that, I am seeing the train, I am seeing the bus, or whatever it is. So all that linguistic, identifications, naming, labeling, takes us out from this atammeta. If we again switch it to atammeta. On the other hand, if we simply experience mere seeing, that's it. Nothing to worry. Mere seeing is there. But we didn't introduce any kind of a subject-object relationship. Rather, the mere seeing is happening right now, without any identification, without any grasping, without any tension, and without any conditioning. And you're not trying to interpret anything, you're not trying to add anything, you're not trying to impose anything, and your mind has to be very clear. Your vision is just a mere vision. I is actually, I in the sense EYEI is actually involved in the seeing process, and other than that, you are not inserting any of your likes and dislikes. You are not adding your own stuff into the picture. That's it.
Thank you, Bhante. And why is it that it's easier for me to do this with my eyes open?
Yeah, that's the interesting thing. Because what I found sometimes that when we close our eyes, we are getting to a kind of a artificial domain, and that might have the capacity to introduce our own stuff into the experience. But when we open our eyes, so something is happening, kind of a experience is going on, it's become more dominant. So in that sense, we are being fairly blocked by adding our own stuff, unless we being attached or kind of we get involved. Because what happens typically is, assume that you are seeing someone, an attractive person, then easily you might get lustful thoughts or attachment thoughts, or you want to go towards him or her, like that. So many things are there. But assume now you are simply seeing someone that you never know, you have never seen. So it's produced some sort of an equanimous field, equanimous state, that you don't need to get attracted, you don't need to get repulsed, so your mind become quite balanced. So that's why even the equanimity is a fairly fertile ground for the wisdom to arise.
Thank you, Bhante.
Good. So you can try that again and again, because sometimes on the other hand, when we close our eyes, we are exerting unnecessary effort. That's also a possibility. But when we simply open our eyes and simply look little far, where our mind is not landed upon anything, not focused onto anything, then it's a more relaxed experience, isn't it?
Yes, Bhante. And for me, what I find is there's a way for me to relax my seeing, where sometimes it's looking far, but sometimes it's not necessarily looking far, but everything is relaxed. But then the eye catches an object and gets invested.
Yeah.
And then again, it kind of relaxes again. So I'm kind of, you see what I mean? It's like I'm getting glimpses where I'm starting to lose myself, and then it comes back.
Yeah.
In terms of being an object.
No, anyway, just continue the practice, and that practice basically helps us to reach this state where we are able to maintain this unattached, uninvolved, non-grasping, unconditioned state for a longer time. So you are seeing, but as you said, it's just instances, time to time happen where you are not being involved, where defilements are not introduced to the experience. But that period may become longer and longer as we continue the practice. So you are able to look at something, but you're not making anything out of that. You're not making someone, or you are not adding a label to that, but mere seeing is continuing.
That's very helpful. Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you very much for the question. And next, I will invite Nissarana to ask the question.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I just have a quick question, more of a theoretical question. I listened to, probably this is not, I guess, this I just heard when I was browsing for a Sutta, somewhat from Brahman. Brahman, I think one of the features, he said something very interesting. It was about a 15 minutes thing. He said something about how they look at the world, I guess. And he said, they see, for example, he started with 4 stages. Like he said, there's 4 stages. Why I'm asking this, I just wanted to understand what's the biggest difference you see from Buddhism, which I sort of saw similarities, and then I saw some differences. So I just wanted to quickly understand. So he said there's 4 stages. One stage he said is he says the eyes don't see the eyes. So basically, which we say, so for example, if I'm seeing an object, there's a book, then there's the eye. So you're always the subject, you're never the object. So you see the book, but the eye can't see the eye, because unless even the reflection is, if you take a selfie or something, that, that's where the first stage is. So it says you're always the subject, you're never the object. Then he says the second thing, he said, so if the eye can't see the eye, but who sees the eye? And it says the second state, they say, is the mind. So because we know there's an eye, and that's how the mind experiences the eye. Right? So that's the second. So then he says, so the mind is the seer, the object is the eye.
So,
right?
I mean, here, by the way, let me disturb you. Now this argument is based on the self-view.
Yes.
You accepted an existing I. Based on that assumption, now the logic being built.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. I think I sort of say the difference. That's why I wanted to clarify. So the third stage you said is the mind, because mind becomes happy, and then you see, I guess there's another conscious level, and the consciousness is the one that sees the mind. And the fourth stage they say is the consciousness. He says beyond consciousness, which says most people won't get, right? So I think I just listened to that point. I just wanted to say, like, understand, like, that's basically that. I think their view is based on a person, right? It's based on an I, right? That I think, yeah. So that's why they sort of go to the 4 layers, right? For us, mostly, like for a yogi, we don't look at the 4 layers. We just look at I guess we in the meditation, rather than focusing on layers, we just focus on if there's an I, there's no subject. The way I understand is there's no subject. Like, we always think there's a subject, but there's no real subject, right? So that's how we. Is that right, Panti? Or like, is that the biggest difference you see? Like, something like that?
Yeah. Now, it's an interesting question, somewhat philosophical as well. Now, you know that when mostly people, maybe Hinduism, maybe Brahmanism, when they are trying to analyze the situation, they somehow get involved with the self view. There is a self, there is an ongoing self, or there is a larger self. So whatever a self view is there, so they somehow build their logic around that self view. That is one thing. Now, when you are talking about these 4 conditions, so that is more apparent. So there is a self, so they accept that, and the mind is looking at that self. So mind is the one knowing, and it knows the whatever features of the self. So like that, one can come up with an argument. Okay, forget about that. Now if you look at the Buddha's explanation, say for example in the Kalakarama Sutta. Now, dattabbang dittang na manyati. So say you are, assume now we'll take a scenario. Say you are looking at a coconut tree. And now for you, coconut tree is something. Coconut tree is an object. So this is how the mundane way of looking at it. Undeveloped way of looking at it, an untrained way of looking at it. So you are here, the coconut tree is there. But when mere seeing is happening, as we already discussed with Ranga, so when mere seeing is happening, your mind is not identifying there is a coconut tree. But mere seeing is there, but there is no coconut tree as such, and you are not labeling as such. Your mind is not sort of objectifying, or we are not introducing an object, rather seeing is there. So mere seeing is there. You are not making an object or self or individual at the other side, at the outside in a way. On the other hand, so the argument is you are not objectifying, you are not labeling, you are not introducing an object or self or an individual, a person, into this experience, and mere seeing is happening. And you are not thinking of a person and then build up any kind of a thinking. So that is the manjana. So if we are individuating, so if we are making an individual there, then you are possible to do some sort of a conceiving, some sort of a thinking, some sort of a proliferation is possible. But here, in the proper way of looking at it, there is no such thing at all. The next thing is, then Buddha mentioned, so that state also you are not making any kind of proliferation. You are not getting to any conceptualization. The next stage is, say, dattabban dittanna manyati adittanna manyati. Say you wanted to see the coconut tree, but you couldn't see the coconut tree. Again, you can make an argument. I didn't see the coconut tree. Now, in order to conceptualize the coconut tree, it is not a must to see it. Even using an unseen coconut tree, you can conceptualize. And based on that, again, you can think. But here, the proper way of doing it is not even conceptualizing based on an unseen object. That's the second thing. Third thing is, dattabang na manyati. thinking, imagining, philosophizing that there is something called coconut tree, I should see that. So you are having some kind of a hypothetical situation. Okay, you get to know about a coconut tree, and I should see that coconut tree. So there again you are thinking of conceptualizing based on your own imagination. That is also not something that Buddha recommend. So your mind has to be very quiet. You are not conceptualizing at all. The last one is the most important one, addressing your question. Dattarang na manyati. So where you take it to the subject side. So I am seeing the coconut tree. But now for the Buddha, for the Arahant, there is no such thing called I see the coconut tree or subject going through a coconut, seeing coconut tree. Rather, mere seeing happens without an agent. So basically the non-self, emptiness. So the emptiness is extremely beautifully highlighted in this Kalakarama Sutta.
Okay, thank you, Bhante. I think I understood from sort of my explain the subject side, but I think you sort of explained from the object side as well. There's really no object as well, like, in a way.
Yeah.
So I think that's I think that's a different view. I just wanted to clarify that, Bhante. So that's an interesting something to listen to, and then I wanted to clarify from my side. Sometimes, it's good to listen to something else. Sometimes to clarify your way of looking at it as well as a good. Thank you, Bhante.
Okay. Yeah, Thero Sannai.
Thank you for that question. Are there any more questions that we want to ask? This is a good opportunity. Yeah. Ranga, again, you can ask the question. Yeah.
Thank you. Bhante, when you talk about mirror seeing, it makes me think of Bahya Sutta. So essentially, when in the seeing there's just the seeing, then there's no you in connection with that, right? And so when there's no you, then in that very moment there's no desire, and the whole chain of suffering ends. Is that right?
Correct. Exactly.
So in a way, we're using the experience of seeing as a support to losing the idea of a self, because it's in a way sort of relatively easy, or maybe relatively easy, to experience the visual field just as it is, in a way where you relax so much that the self kind of loses the sense of self drops. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. Because the thing is, now the problem is, when the sight or whatever we are seeing is attractive or beautiful, naturally there's a possibility for the defilements to arise. Our anger, the lust or greed or all any kind of things to arise. So that's why at the beginning we are not supposed to meditate with open eyes. We get distracted because of the sight being interesting and important, and we attribute an importance value to the sight, so we get attracted to that, so we get disturbed. But as we mature, one can, even with open eyes, he can meditate, because the sight, even though it may be very beautiful, but the mind doesn't want to get involved. So mind has little become more mature. It prefers the seclusion rather than getting involved. So in such case, if you close your eyes, it may be adding little bit excess energy or kind of trapping of energy, penting up energy. So it can make the mind more little restless, because you are unnecessarily adding too much effort. But once you allow the free flow, simply you keep your eyes open and let thing happen, let the experience happen. And as you said, let the visual experience happen, but you prevent adding anything onto it. So then the mere experience happening, mere seeing happens.
It's very beautiful, Bhante.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like when I try and engage in this way, it's as if I'm seeing everything that I can see, and just kind of naturally in trying to see everything, the sense of a subject doesn't need to be there. I don't know if...
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing is, now the moment that you label, now say for example there are many people are there and you are merely seeing everybody and you don't even care who is there, but assume that someone is waving his hand and now he recognizes you and is your friend. At that moment you lose this balance, because you introduce a speciality, you introduce some sort of a labeling, and you distinctly recognize this particular person. There your mind get landed upon him. Now there is a person, there is an individual, there is a special person, an important person. At that moment you lost the balance. So it is no more atammeta. It is now the mind is conditioned.
Yes, I noticed even with neutral objects like a potted plant or a water bottle, or even the neutral objects, they seem to pop out and become noticed, and as soon as that happens, I'm lost in the story again.
Exactly. Yeah.
I see. Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah. Very interesting. By the way, I mean, these kind of very subtle, practical things, how it relates with the Dhamma. It's very beautiful and very profound teachings of the Buddha. So we can talk with these very simple experiences, but it's really profound.
Yes. And I know when I'm not quite in the Atamita, but sometimes when I'm walking, for whatever reason, I like doing this. I realize I've been doing this for years at a lower grade.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it starts to feel like I'm in a dream, and I like that, because in that sense, nothing feels so serious.
Uh-huh.
And I remember when I had a kind of a deeper insight coming out of that experience, it felt like a dream, like very light and joyful and almost like funny, like there was a sense of humor.
Right. On the other thing is, Ranga, now when you are trying to experience something profound, say you are trying hard to experience something profound, so you make the situation already conditioned.
Right.
You are exerting too much effort, and you prepare yourself, and that fair amount of preparations are already introduced to the experience. So there you lose the balance. So the situation may not unfold naturally.
Yes, Bhante, I definitely still lack that maturity.
So anyway, I mean, these instances are showing you the path in a way. So till you are striving, it won't happen. But when you let things happen, it happens.
Right.
That's the beauty.
Yes. Yes, I'm still trying to find the back door into it.
Yeah.
But still, these glimpses are coming. So something is unfolding.
Yeah. Very interesting. It's a kind of a funny thing. It's playing with you. Hide and seek.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Thank you, Bhante.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you for that question. Any more questions that we have? Bhante, also I wanted to share a website that we have developed for Nissarana Buddhist Monastery USA.
Yeah,
group,
please go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead. So you can share on the maybe.
Yes.
So there is a chat box.
Within,
yeah.
Yes, the chat. Yes.
Yeah.
And meantime, Geeta Mendis, you can ask your question.
Okay. Bhante, when in the Satipatthana, so we start with Kayanupassana and say using the breath, right? Or some awareness of the elements, say. Now, so we say we are doing Kayanupassana. Now, when you go to the Dhammanupassana, when you look at that, and you have the 5 aggregates. So there again you have Rupa and the rest.
Correct.
So what is the difference? Is it your attitude of how you look at it? Or what's the difference between body contemplation as per Kayanupassana instructions? What's different when you're contemplating Rupa with the intention of seeing the 5 aggregates more clearly? What's the difference?
Yeah.
Is there a difference?
Yeah, there is a difference. I think there is a difference because at the beginning, as a beginner, when you are starting with Kayanupassana, so your mind is fairly scattered and filled with so many hindrances, and you are merely trying to use the body as an anchor to your wandering mind. So when you are walking, so you are trying to know that the body is walking. When you are standing, so you trying to recognize that the body is standing. So likewise, even the body standing is still too advanced. Probably I am standing, I am walking. Still, fairly ignorant way, but I am now trying to reduce the scattered or restless nature of the mind, distractions of the mind by means of the body. So that is the beginning of our Kayanupassana. But later, even in the Kayanupassana, assume now you are going deeper and deeper, fair amount of mindfulness being developed, fair amount of clear comprehension being developed. Now you practice Anapanasati, your faculties are growing. Assume now you are getting to Dhatu Manasikara, your understanding is growing. Now you understand, okay, this body is merely 4 elements. So there now you are getting closer to the Rupakhanda. Even at the Kayanupassana level, but not at the very beginning, where you understand, okay, it's a mere 4 elements and there's no such thing called head or leg or hand or any of these things, but it's mere elements. And those are also functioning in a way, they are changing phenomena, they are not so-called nouns, rather they are continuous changing activities. So likewise, you are getting more deeper understanding about the body as you are growing, but not immediately. But when it comes to Dhammanupassana, so fair amount of understanding is already established within the yogi. So there he can look at the body, the whole, not only the body, the whole materiality by mere elements, and it is more broader and more deeper, more profound. Whatever the past elements, whatever the present elements, whatever the future elements, whatever far elements, what are near elements, gross elements, subtle elements, all different kinds of elements are mere elements. So likewise, the Rupa Khanda is a fairly broader way of looking at the matter. It may be past, present, future, far and near, and all that, the 11 facets that the Buddha is introducing. So likewise, it's a more profound way. Now you are looking at the matter. So when it comes to the Dhammanupassana level.
Okay, thank you, Bhante.
Yeah. By the way, very interesting question that you are trying to kind of deep thinking how what are the things. It's an interesting question.
Yes, I wondered if with the Dhamma, when you get to that level of mind being more still and not running everywhere, and you that maybe you're actually looking at the very primary, the anicca dukkha anatta characteristics of
that also become more prominent, more evident, because at the body level, till you have a body, you can't say you are practicing Vipassana. I mean, you may say, okay, now this body comprised with various body parts. That is also a certain kind of an insight. But you need to go to more deeper, more subtle levels. But when it comes to Dhammanupassana, so you may be starting fairly with the elements and more primary elements. So you can easily understand anicca dukkha anatta because you are already grounded, already at the fundamentals. Not into concepts, but more into the fundamentals.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Very good. Thank you, Bhante. We got 8 more minutes. I think we wanted to wind up around 10:30 your time.
Yeah.
So one more question, I guess. Maura, yes, you can unmute.
Thank you, everyone. I was hoping not to ask this question, but at the same time, I just wanted to clarify. The previous question talked about things happening with your eyes open.
Mm-hmm.
So in my practice, a lot of the insights of dissolution and everything doesn't happen when I'm meditating. It just comes like an outcome or whatever without me practicing, or it just comes.
Mm-hmm.
And also idea of impermanence where everything is like shaking, or I get a nimitta. It all comes when I'm working, when I'm walking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not necessarily paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
And is that because of the practice I do when I do meditate, but then the karma can come at any time?
Mm-hmm.
Because your mind is peaceful?
No, actually, yeah. So, I mean, in mundane sense, we can give a kind of a easy answer. You know that there are 2 types of meditation. One type is where you are there, you are a yogi, you are a practitioner, and you are practicing. The doing part is fairly evident that you get involved. You prepare yourself and you sit cross-legged and you close your eyes and you keep the environment very quiet, pleasant, and you practice meditation. That is also necessary. And for most of the people, that is necessary because their minds are fairly scattered, fairly defiled, and so they want to meditate like that. So that is also an essential part of the practice. But later, as you are growing, then the situation change into a level of practice where the meditation happens. It is not that you meditate, rather the meditation unfolds by itself as a dharmata. It's not a doing type of meditation, rather you just being. You simply tune yourself to the free flow of the events. It is not that you do purposely, intentionally anything. Rather, you are simply allow things to happen. Something like that. So there the free flow is there. More natural, more unfolding is there. So now Mayra is talking that level. So we can't say immediately one can do that. But when you are becoming more and more mature, more and more attuned to that, then it becomes more beautiful unfolding. Then we are actually not supposed to do, rather we better merely experience the show. That's it.
But without the grounding of the doing and understanding, because I wasn't a Buddhist, and I don't know how much knowledge from the previous life I get.
Right.
You know, it's like I need to tether myself to the practice and to understanding the Dhamma, because you guys all talk certain words and I don't even know the meaning of them.
Mm-hmm.
Because in Pali, so I'm still learning all of that conceptual stuff. Because without that, when I get certain insights, I can't interpret it. Because I think it's wrong. For 25 years, I thought it was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody would say to me it was X, Y, Z. Thank you, Bhante. You're the first one in a way to, although I have read the book in this very life, I don't, till you explained it to me and said, go and read that book. Just last week when I read it, made more sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much. But I also have a very rebellious mind where I want to do things my way. So I go to different practitioners and I just take what suits me, so I can become a bit lost. So, but this weekly meeting where we're talking about our practice is very, very helpful.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm slowly letting go of my ideas and understanding from everybody speaking and your answers. I'm sort of getting more and more, direction. So it's much, much better. Thank you so much. Thero Saranai.
Yeah. Thero Saranai.
Very good. Thank you, Maura, for the question. And I think we should be able to accommodate one more question if there is. Bante, I hear that you met Jennifer during the Patina.
Yeah. So she came and introduced herself while myself and Bante Rahula having our lunch. So she came in front and she simply said, Bante, I am Jennifer. So she introduced herself, and actually Bante Rahula already know her to some extent, but she introduced, but Bante Rahula can't remember exactly, but she introduced and then he get to know. So likewise, nice meeting, and but today she is not here, by the way.
She is.
She is really.
I'm here quietly listening.
Okay.
Yes, it was very nice to meet you in person, Bante.
Right. So I'm with Bante Rahul now. Until Sunday I'll be here.
Yes, that's absolutely lovely. Hopefully I get another chance to visit this weekend.
Okay, good.
Very good. Thank you, Bante. I think sharing the website with all of you, and I hope you all have the opportunity to click and save that link. And we also got one feedback on that website. So I will pass this to the board of directors and let them update the website as well. So thank you for your feedback. Really appreciate. And with that, Bante, I think that's all the questions that we have for the evening.
Okay, so thank you very much, and then I hope you can continue with the next part of the program.
Yes,
I'll make the leave.
So the next, definitely.
Okay.
So the next part of the program, we will conduct a mindful sitting. I hope everybody can join and be